Yakabit embody, Yakabit embody, come into the form of flesh and blood. Come into the form of flesh and blood. Be sobriety, be sobriety. Take this time with your hair to stretch out. Yawasi, darkness and light. Yawasi, darkness and light. Yawasi, darkness and light. Yawasi, Basitala, Basitala. Beyond, expand beyond your boundaries. Beyond, expand beyond your boundaries. Be ecstasy, be ecstasy. Darkness and light, Yawasi, darkness and light. Yawasi, darkness and light. Yawasi, darkness and light. Yawasi, come into Yakabit embody, Yakabit embody, Yakabit embody, Yakabit embody. Come into the form of flesh and blood. Come into the form of flesh and blood. Be sobriety. Take this time to stretch out. Do anything your body needs to do. Darkness and light. Yawasi, darkness and light. Yawasi, darkness and light. Yawasi, darkness and light. Yawasi, Basitala, 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 Basitala. Beyond, expand beyond your boundaries. Beyond, expand beyond your boundaries. Be ecstasy, be ecstasy. Darkness and light, Yawasi, darkness and light. 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 Yawasi, Yakabit embody, Yakabit embody, Basitala, Basitala, Yakabit embody, Yakabit embody, Basitala, Basitala. Darkness and light, Yawasi, darkness and light, Yawasi. Hmm. Welcome, beloveds. Good to see some of you. Good to know your other ones are just out there. You're here on a holiday. Hello, hello. And let's start with our invocation, which is steady, love. This is what the struggle is for. The press of darkness and the time making its own light. As if in the earth a hidden lantern, or in the seed a star that blossoms, finally into the yielding night, bearing forth the radiant day. And one more time. I found this very interesting picture that I'd like to use because it is such a beautiful representation of the darkness and light that is, it's just what makes us up as humans. We have both. And so the picture of this particular human is very, it's kind of open up. If you can imagine, it goes quite down into his torso. But this darkness that he represents, she represents, they have inside of them, that there's those places that are more concentrated in form, and so they are contracted, held, protected inside, and yet at the same time, if you find it in your body, there are these places of light, where there's this lightness, where there's more space. Maybe you feel it as emptiness, or just as kind of like having the wings inside of you. I think a lot of us have had that feeling at times of like our arms being wings, and that's that lightness entering. So they're there together. It's seldom that there isn't at least some kind of concentrated form inside of us, which can be felt as pain or can be felt as muscle stiffness, soreness. What else? Do you have any other thoughts, Raphael? What else do you feel it as? It's all
burning.
Yeah.
Sharp.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of pain adjectives for the heavy, and just like impenetrable. This really dense, tense, contracted, tight energy.
Yes, and so that you can see as soon as we talk about it, I don't know how you feel, but it's very common that we have like a bit of like, I want to get away from that. And so that's that piece inside of us that is always afraid. There's often a part of us that's afraid of this contraction, of this darkness, whether it's in the world outside, whether it's inside of ourselves. So we're going to focus today on what's happening inside of ourselves.
Or the world outside triggering and reminding us of these very contracted, painful states. A lot of people have a lot of trauma in their bodies that are these contracted states. So in traumatic seeming things and things are happening outside, it can activate those places inside. And sometimes, as we've been reflecting, they're not real well formed. Sometimes it's clear that this is a part or a different self, but especially with chaotic and traumatic states, especially young ones, it can just feel like disorganized energy. And there can be very open states too, expansive light states, refined states, that don't always feel like a self. It's just such a vast field. So we can feel these things as field phenomena that oftentimes we can experience as a self or a part, but sometimes it doesn't even organize. We just feel some energy in our body. So.
And that's why you could say medicine and explains things. You know, they say, well, you have some muscle soreness in this area. They don't really know why. Let's say you had an injury in that area and then it just continues. Well, why doesn't it heal and allow for the energy to come into that space? Why is it still protecting itself?
And sometimes those things are just implicit memories of very early states.
Yeah.
You know, Sarno, who did the Healing Your Back Pain, he found that he'd go to third world countries and they had horrible MRIs and CTs of their back discs and there were no pain. Then in our country, there are a lot of people who have horrible back pain and they have no abnormalities. So there's a lot of these infant and early contracted states are to have their own life, that unless we can open and bring love and compassion and curiosity to them, just stay that way in a trauma loop.
So we're going into our own bodies.
And holding the darkness and light, Yawasi.
Because we kind of know a little bit about how to do that now. So I hope that figure can elicit some compassion inside of you as we go into this. And the reason why I said get up and move before and let yourself stretch, because I'm not going to do a lot of that in the induction today. This is going to be more of an induction oriented towards really helping to find the darkness and helping to find the light. So if you need to, please stand up and let your body do whatever it needs to do to just get itself into a place where it can be investigated, explored, breathed into.
Held.
Held.
I think that's the thing with holding the inhalation on some of these and holding the exhalation, that Yaya is bringing this capacity of Wasi to hold what's going on.
That's right. So, but sometimes that might need a little bit of shaking out or whatever you need to do. I just want you to think of, for a moment, your own body and let yourself notice it. If there's anything it's asking for before we begin today. And as you get comfortable with standing in the breath, we'll begin with breathing in the earth breath, breathing out the earth breath. And we're going to hold it after each time. So we're going to breathe in and hold that as
Into
we've
the
been
nose.
doing. And then out through the nose and holding it. Not in a tense way, but just in a way of allowing. It's like you're making space. You're not just going right directly back into the next breath. So become comfortable with that inhale in, holding the exhale out through the nose and holding. And we're going to be going through each of the body parts. And as we do this, we're going to breathe into it. We're going to really notice that the inhale is a natural contracting because the muscles have to make space for more air. So on that inhale, when we go through the body parts, we'll have a little bit of a contraction in that area, or imagine a contraction in that area. And then we'll also imagine that it's releasing, relaxing on that exhale. And then we're going to be curious whether or not that area has extra amount of contracting. So we're going to start with our heads today rather than our feet. Breathing into our head and imagining the skull and the all the skin around it contracting all the way into the brain, what causes headaches anyway. And then letting it go on that exhale through the nose. We'll do that a couple times. And we're going to just breathe through it into our head normally, how we would. And we're going to ask High Self, who is always here with us, to help us with this question as we say, is there a lot of dense energy in my head? Am I holding darkness in my head? Am I holding a contraction? However you want to view it, ask that question. And then just hear the response, a yes or a no or a place, and we'll move on. We're going to go to the neck. So we're going to breathe into the neck, little contracting, holding it, and letting go again. And a couple more times, about 3 times each. And after the 3rd time, we'll ask High Self that question again, our guides. Am I holding dark energy or contraction in my neck? And then moving on to the shoulders. Breathing into the shoulders, letting them contract a little bit and release on that exhale. And then asking the question again, am I holding that darkness in my shoulders? Contracted energy. And then bringing the breath into your arms, your upper arms, your elbows, your lower arms, your wrists, and all of your fingers. Contracting it, letting it feel that expansion of air into it, and then releasing it. And then asking High Self if we're holding protective or contracted energy in our arms, hands, fingers, wrists, elbows, and if so, where? I'm beginning to breathe now into the upper chest. So just that upper chest on the front, upper chest on the back. Feeling the contraction on the inhale, letting that exaggerate a little bit. And then asking high self if you hold darkness or contraction in this area of the upper chest. And then letting go into the next area, which is your heart area. That whole area in the front, crossing over your heart to the left, to the right, the middle, and in the back. Feeling the contraction of the inhale and letting go on that exhale. Three times in each place. Big breath, holding, inhale through the nose. Big breath, holding, exhale through the nose. And then when you're finished asking that question again of high self, am I holding darkness, contraction in this area? And coming into the solar plexus area, so right below your, where the ribs are ending and right before your belly button. Front and back. Letting it contract on that inhale as you hold it and letting it relax as you also hold it on the exhale. If it helps, you can move it a little bit on that exhale to release anything. You don't have to be perfectly still. Let the contraction, let yourself feel it, and then let yourself really begin to let that area relax. Don't go to sleep. Don't go away. Stay here with your body. Stay embodied. Stay present with what's happening. And then as you come into the solar plexus, ask yourself that question again of high self. And coming down into the belly button and below into the, let's just use the whole hips, the pelvic area, the first, second chakras. So that whole area, if you need to, just let yourself feel it with your hands so that you don't go numb up into your head. Make sure you're not going away. Stay present as you're breathing into this area, holding the breath, contracting it. Be active in your focus, and then letting it relax on that exhale. Imagine just pulling all the energy you need in on that inhale, holding it, and then letting the energy go back into the earth. And seeing what's left. After those 3 breaths, ask again. And coming down into your right thigh and your right knee. We'll just breathe into that much. Contracting it on that inhale. You can move it and releasing it on the exhale. Remember to stay present. You can always touch your leg. Be interested in you. And then ask the question. And coming into the shin and your foot and toes, your ankle, breathing into that whole area. And you can lift it a little bit or step into it so you can really feel it. Contract the muscles on the inhale. Let them relax on the exhale. Still the right foot. And then asking the question again of high self. And beginning with the left thigh and the knee on the left. Again, making sure you let yourself feel it so that you can contract that area a little bit more on that inhale as you're bringing in. Imagine it's bringing in lots of air. Bring in that space, that energy, and then it's letting go. And we're asking that question again. And then doing the same thing with the calf of the left leg, the ankle, the toes, the feet, the whole foot. If you're standing really still, you might want to see if you're still connected into yourself. Because this is about being able to really feel those areas very distinctly. And then asking the question again when you're finished. And then going through and remembering for a moment as you're breathing naturally, just that earth breath, where were the areas that you really felt that concentration of form, that tension? That way in which there may have been some pain, or there just might have been that sense of a really deep inner tension, contraction, soreness. Where were they? So I want you to just, for a moment, put your hand on those areas that you noticed. maybe a hand on each if you have 2 places, and just breathe into them for a moment, not trying to get rid of them, but just acknowledging. It's like an acknowledgement. I see you. Breathing in, holding, and letting go. Just so you can really anchor them in to your awareness where they are. And then we're going to go into the air breath. So we're going to breathe in and out through the mouth, and we're going to be finding the places of light. So we're breathing in to the head. We hold the breath, and then we let go. Do it again.
And we're holding on the exhale?
We're holding on the inhale, we're holding on the exhale, the same thing we've been doing. Yes, in through the mouth, hold. Exhale through the mouth, hold. And we're doing it into the head, like we're forming that sense of almost like a balloon of air forming into the head. It's a little bit of a contraction on that inhale as it holds that energy in, and then we let it expand out through every pore of the head on the exhale. And we ask, is there light in our heads today? Lightness. And we come into the throat and we do the same thing. Breathing all the way down into the throat, letting it hold that energy on the inhale, and then letting it expand out on the exhale after we also hold for a moment. And asking myself that question again. Do we have light in our necks today? And let's come down into the shoulders. We're going to do the shoulders and the arms all together. So breathing in. Let yourself feel all the energy infusing into this area, holding it and expanding it out. And then asking that question again when you finish. So I have light in my shoulders, lightness in my shoulders or my hands, fingers. Wrists, elbows. Arms, and then coming into the upper chest and the heart area. Come into both of those as we breathe in. You really might want to let it move a little bit on that exhale. The movement helps us to get in touch with the letting go. It can help us get in touch with that contraction of the inhale. Helps us to not go numb and get lost in our heads. To be embodied. And then asking the question again. And we come all the way down into our solar plexus. And we breathe into the solar plexus as well as the whole area of the pelvis. So we're going through 3 chakras as we breathe in that wonderful balloon air, holding it and then letting it out. Imagine what it's like when the balloon lets out the air. And we're now just easy going. There's that contraction of holding all the air in. And then it eases its way out. Then we ask the question again. And then we come into, we're going to do both legs at the same time. So we're going to do right leg and left leg, letting ourselves breathe into them. The knees, the calves, the thighs. Holding on the inhale, holding on the exhale. That holding is the wasi. And asking that question again. And coming down, lastly, to our feet, and letting our feet really be invigorated with this energy of air. Right foot, left foot, toes, ankles. Filling up and letting go. And then asking the question again. And remembering where what were the places of lightness in your body? Maybe you can touch them, maybe you can't, but really remembering the places that you felt and got information that there was lightness there. And let's have a seat for a moment. Let's do that again. Just doesn't want to hold anymore. So we're going to just take a few breaths with the earth breath, remembering the places in our body that were filled with more darkness, contraction. And we're going to take a breath, the air breath, to remember the places that were filled with more light today. So we'll start with the earth and just holding those places that have the contraction. And going into the air breath and holding the light. We'll do that a couple more times. And now breathe in through the nose, all of the places that you can remember that felt contracted or one that you want to pick. And breathe out through the mouth, through the light place. We'll do that a couple more times, breathing in through the nose on the contracted place. Out through the mouth, through into the light place.
You can continue that if you wish, just alternating on your breath, just recognizing you as conscious self, holding the awareness of the places of tension, of contraction inside, and the places of expansion, of lightness, of spaciousness inside too. As you do that, just imagine, especially your breath flowing in and out of your heart center, really forming the sacred space of your heart, the garden of your heart. Especially noticing any places that are tense, contracted in the area of the heart center, and places that feel spacious and open in the area of your heart center. Just letting the breath be the wasi that just holds, notices, brings awareness to both. But the larger awareness is on the sacred space of your heart. As you do that, allowing these words to just float through your awareness toward the one, the perfection of love, harmony, and beauty. The only being united with all the illuminated souls, who form the embodiment of the Master, the message, the mystery, the miracle, the Mother, the Spirit of guidance. Really, your guiding self, your high self, Just breathing in and out, resting in the sacred space of your heart, being conscious self. On the inhale, noticing the places that are contracted and tense. On your exhale, into the nose. On the exhale, through your mouth, noticing the quality of spaciousness, of lightness. You may feel other selves or parts that push away or cling to, just inviting them to step aside so you can just be conscious self, just aware of this, aware of your heart and places of contraction and expansion in your being. With all love and all respect, we call upon High Self, our guiding self, the angel of our being, to be with us for a time of communion, guidance, dialogue. You can just allow your breath to be natural, just welcoming in the expansion, the light of High Self, to infuse you in this time of communion with love, with compassion, with light, breathing that into all the places of tension, breathing that into all the places of expansion, and just as you breathe out, just giving thanks back to High Self for this deepening relationship. Whether you see or feel or hear, or just the presence or the intention of communing with High Self. And you can stay with that, or if you wish, moving in your own time of unfoldment for your process. You can also ask, beloved High Self, how can I better be aware of the places of contraction and light in my body, or my bodies, and how can I hold them with love and compassion? How can I be wasi, to hold the places, your guidance and direction on, whether it's just through awareness, through practice, through being in nature. What supports me? How can I hold these places of light and of contraction, of tension, with love, compassion, curiosity? Perhaps it's as simple as sensing in to whatever beliefs are there, but underneath that, whatever feelings are there, underneath that, whatever sensations are there, and allowing all those to be infused with this energy of loving awareness that can move through, in and around any places of tension, any places of spaciousness. And just stay with that if you wish, or when you're ready, you can invite in perhaps one place of tension. And out of all these ones you may have found, just in that place in your body. And keep allowing yourself to bring your loving awareness to the experience of the tension itself, of the contraction. Letting any words or beliefs or stories around it dissipate on the exhale and the inhale. Just breathing into the experience, bringing this loving awareness to the experience of this tension and contraction. Maybe a self, but perhaps not even worrying about that, just coming to the energetic quality, the energy underneath that. And just again noticing with real deep loving awareness the location in your body. Just being curious about where it meets the surrounding neutral or light tissue or energy. Just really breathing, just taking time to be receptive. And the location may be fluid, it may be shifting and moving. In Psyche usually things are like a slide, they're moving, they're unfolding. So just being curious about the location of this tension. And the contours of it. Is it smooth or jagged? You almost like the outline of the space, the contour of it. Just letting your awareness just slide over, around the contours. And the intensity of it, is it intense or less, more? What's it like, the intensity of it? Really getting this energetic quality of this place. Scale of 0 to 10, just noticing the intensity. And if there are fluctuations in the intensity. And along with that intensity, is there a frequency? A vibration? Everything appears solid, but on a quantum level, everything is vibrating and in motion and is energy. It's both. See if you can feel the frequency of this place. And the overall form. That again can be fluid. And then as you're ready, really thanking this place, inviting it into this beautiful place in your heart, inviting it to just rest with high self, letting the healing energies of high self, the loving energies of high self flow into this energy, this place in the temple of your soul, the body. And then as you're ready, just inviting in a place of lightness, expansion, of spaciousness. Or just noticing perhaps the expansion and spaciousness throughout your whole body. And again, just noticing the location. Is it spread out? Is it localized? And again, does it have a contour to it and a form? And the intensity of this. Is it like an ecstasy that's overpowering, or just a light pleasure? And that frequency again, is there a subtle vibration or modulation or flux to this? Is it alive in a way? Is it life itself? Be drenched in the energies of life. And then just inviting that one to be deep in the heart with high self. And just allowing that one to be there, this expansive state place and the contracted state place. Just being in the breath, in the presence of high self and you conscious self. The four of you just being together in the breath of unity. And if it helps you, you can just be breathing in and out Yawasi. And allow Wasi to be on the breath to just support you in holding with compassion, with love, with curiosity, whatever is arising inside. Really giving thanks to High Self, to these very unformed spaces, places, energies inside, the mystery of your being, the mystery of each of us as a human being. And we'll prepare to bring this soul work to a close for this morning. We'll be taking a deep breath, breathing down, darkness and light, Yawasi. Taking another breath, breathing up, darkness and light, Yawasi, acknowledging our inner world and the outer world. Darkness and light, Yawasi. Darkness and light, Yawasi. And then taking your time to come back and to remember, like a dream, the waking dream of soul work, anything you want to remember about your exploration, your journey this morning. And you just reflect on that inside, or you want to write a note or draw something.